Do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you.
Well. Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Willie Jolley, and this is my beautiful bride, brilliant bride, wonderful bride, the love of my life, Dee Taylor-Jolley. Let's see, what kind of glasses you got tonight? These are kind of rectangles. So one day it's rectangles, one day it's...
And I have white hair today.
And white hair today. Hello, everybody joining us on Instagram. We got a lot more people. Thank you. And we want to encourage you to share. Hang on. Tell more of your friends that we're on Instagram. We're on Twitter now. We're on LinkedIn Live. We're on Facebook. We're trying to get this message out to everybody we can. So I'm Dr. Willie Jolley, my beautiful bride, Dee Taylor-Jolley. We're the authors of the book, Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, 10 Secrets to Shape a Great Marriage. And we've been married for 38 years. Haven't had an argument in over 35 years. And we put as much as we know at this moment in this book, as well as a year, I thought it was over a year into writing it, a year of interviewing people who've been married 30, 40, 50, 60 years, and then compiled that into a book that we are grateful. People are saying it's saving their marriages. So that's why we did it. All right, let's get to this topic that we want to share with you. We get a lot of folks who say, you know, I got a great husband or a great wife, great, I love her, love him. But there's one little problem. The little problem is in the bedroom. There's a problem in the bedroom. And so that creates a problem because sex is an important part of marriage. Oh, well, to most marriages. There's some marriages that are
sexless and people get along really well.
Yeah, but that is what we usually get is everything's great except the sex. Now, here's what we got. And remember, you can all send your questions to info@williejolly.com, info@williejolly.com. We never call your name. Anyway, so typically we have the issue there. But here's another one. Ooh. The one where this one is that they have a great sex life. Great sex, bad everything else. Ooh. We want to address that. Now, we just got a question from somebody here. What do you do if your partner is amazing but a horrible listener? Gotten to the point where I find expressing thoughts is pointless. Okay. Let's try and address that before end of the hour, a half hour.
A horrible listener, what do you do? Okay.
All right, now we're going to talk about this. Now, the great sex, bad everything else. Ooh. Well, we actually have had some experience, not with us, but with dealing with a couple that we don't do marriage counseling. We do marriage mentoring. That we mentored.
What does that mean? You can't use the same word to define the word.
Okay. Marriage counseling is that we are giving you advice from a counseling perspective. What we're doing is saying mentorship. Here's where we are. Here's what we've done. Here's what we've learned. And this will work with you because we have seen it work with us.
Here's how we got there.
Yeah.
And you can model us. You can
That's modeling. It's mentoring is a form of modeling.
Yes.
All right. Now, we have not had this issue with great sex, everything else bad. I still got the hots for her. And it's always curling my toes. Ooh. Anyway, but that said, we got the other parts of the relationship that work as well. So here's what I said when I saw this letter. I said to Dee.
Email.
I call them letters. They are letters via email. You think of a letter only coming through snail mail. It's a letter. But it's a...
All right, sweetheart.
Okay.
Whatever you say.
All right.
Go ahead and explain.
Now.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So I said to Dee, here's where I would recommend and what we recommended for that couple. That's a good starting point. But that cannot be the ending point. Sex alone is not enough to keep your marriage strong. This is a great example of this. Sex alone is fine. But as we say in the book, let me read this section from the book and why it is so important. Okay, friends first. Statistics show that those who are friends have greater marriages than those who are just drawn by sex. Here's the problem. You can't be in bed 24/7. You got to go to work. You got to pay some bills. So there has to be some more to your life and your marriage than just sex. Even if it's popping, it's banging, it's pooping. It's got to be more. And that's why we say that you've got to work on your friendship.
So the person who wrote in is saying the sex is not enough. The sex
is great, but everything else
not enough.
Right.
So what do we do now?
What you do now is what we encourage people to do is we are built on a marriage. Our foundational marriage is, hey, Linda and Greg, glad y'all here. Our foundation in our marriage is built on our friendship. And that's where you start your marriage. You build it's biblical. You build your house upon the sand, it's going far.
Okay, so they didn't do that.
All right. Now,
they're married.
Yeah.
It was built on, I'll make this work because I get an orgasm all the time.
Yeah.
All right. So now we have to back into it.
You've got to back it up. Okay. But you got something in common, but it's not enough to keep you together. It's not
enough to keep you happy when you get out of the bed.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
So now you back it up and you say, what's missing?
What's missing?
So if nothing else is working, then what's missing is that you got to figure out how to communicate.
Starting point is friends first. And then,
but they're not even friends. So
right.
How do you get to
being friends? Okay, I see what you're saying. How do you get to being friends? How do you get
to be friends? This is what I'm saying in terms of how to be helpful to them.
If I didn't care,
then
I got a new ring.
Then I would say, and this is what I've learned after this additional piece, you got to study your mate. You probably don't want to do it. Because it's easy just to get in bed and have sex, have an orgasm, and go to sleep. But to have more than that, you've got to back up and say, okay, I married this person. The sex is great, but it's not enough. Let me look at what I have.
That's wise.
I would say you have to study that person. Now, I had another question because that wasn't in the email. Is it just not okay with you? Everything else, and it is good with him. You see what I'm saying?
Everything else,
right? So see, that's a question that we also don't have the answer to,
but we don't have his perspective.
Right? Because it might be
he's cool with everything.
Yes. So this is why you got like different tracks. They need counseling, or they.
Counseling gonna make them better.
Wait. Because there's so many unanswered questions, there are a whole bunch of things that could go on here. She needs counseling because we only know one side of the story.
All right, so
he might be great with everything, and she just says the sex is great. Okay.
I knew who it was. It was my grandson. He called every Monday at the same time.
So here we go. So I'm saying you got to ask some fundamental questions. Okay, so I did marry this person, and I married this person primarily because of the feeling, all this, the whatever that word is, that gets the endorphins and stuff going, and you feel good, right?
Right.
So now I'm in it. How do I make it work? It's not a bad person.
No.
This is what I'm adding on to it. But I'm not feeling anything. So you have to study that person. You have to study the person to figure out what are they really about.
Right.
Because you don't really know them. You said you have nothing else is going on.
Nothing else in common.
You don't have any. So
probably don't talk.
So you got to study the person and become friends away from the bed. Become friends away. So how do you do that? Oh. So I've got some ideas.
All
So
right, why don't you give me your ideas?
Okay. So when I say you study the person, you got to figure out how they're hardwired, which takes me back to how people are innately. The four basic innate groups, right?
Right.
Like you are the person who is outgoing and everything, and you're called the sanguine type of person. You're very social.
Okay.
So were you drawn to this person because they were very social, and you got swept up in that?
Okay.
I don't know. Oh, or perhaps you were drawn to the person because they're logical, they're systematic. That's kind of called the melancholic kind of person who is more pensive, thoughtful, and they're always focused on a solution. They help you get everything done in a hurry, and you're emotionally drawn to that, right? Or maybe it's a phlegmatic, or the person who's characterized by being the peacekeeper and always easygoing, kind of always goes along and makes you feel good. Is it that kind of person? Or is it the caloric person who's just take charge, just get everything done, and that turns you on and gets your endorphins going? So once you figure out the kind of person that is, how do you learn how to communicate with them? What are their hot buttons? I'm not talking about sex hot buttons, but what are their hot buttons to get them to communicate with you?
Okay.
Right?
So
after you figure that out, and how you need to speak to that person and their issues, right? Because there's certain things that I don't say to you because I'm short, curt, and hairy, and you don't like that. So when I'm with you, even though you have to tell
the whole story. I have to tell the whole, have to give it context. And she always wants to get to the bottom line. What's the bottom line? Get me to the bottom.
Not as bad as I was. And I do listen because that's important to you. You have to get it all out, right? So I've studied you enough to know here are the things that are important to you in terms of how communication works between the two of us. And I get more out of you and more lean in when I choose to listen on purpose, right?
Yeah.
Listen. And that's a learned thing. So I'm just saying you can learn these things. So after you figure out how they're hardwired, how they receive information, because maybe you never really dealt with that before, then you'll know how to talk to them. Oh, this is how I got to talk to this kind of personality, right?
Willie Larkin just asked a good question. Do you guys use a disclaimer when working with couples, letting them know that you are not offering any official counseling?
Correct, yes.
Yeah, we tell them right up front. We're not counselors, we are mentors. And so this is our advice as mentors, as models, but we are not.
And we can make recommendations.
We refer when they call us
Christian counseling.
Yeah, when they call us offline, people call it often now and say, I need counseling. We say, we got somebody, we got a list of people we recommend.
Well, just a short list, but they are Christian counselors.
Yeah.
So after you kind of figure out how to
Thank you, Willie, for answering that question.
How to talk to your mate outside of the bed, then you've got to start to say, what's important? You got to talk. When I keep saying outside of the bed. So you don't get in bed and start touching toes and that kind of stuff and carrying on a conversation.
So
So what are here's what's important to me.
Yeah.
What's important to you?
Well, that's again creating the relationship,
right?
Creating friendship, communicating.
You can come up with.
All right, so that's
how I would have my answer to that particular situation, and then some specific things that one can do, because you always got to go away with it.
But both of them got to want to do it, right?
Right. So at this point, we don't know if they're both saying
the same thing.
Exactly.
Okay. So let's assume that they both feel the same way. Then what you've made some suggestions. One of them I say here, find some time for non-sexual activity. That's why we're in the book. In the chapter about people who are not yet married, we give you tips on how to discover if this person is a prospect or a suspect.
But the horse has left the barn.
Now when you get married, y'all married and all about the sex. Woo.
Not yet married, pay attention. But the horse has left the barn.
When you married him, that horse is out. He's running down the field. Now you got to back it up, as she said. Start with communicating, talking to each other, say, you know, all we got going on is sex. It's great. It's good. It's wonderful. But we can't be in bed 24/7. Do we want to stay together and enjoy the sex and build something that's great over time? Then you build on that one common element. That sex is the element. Now let's build friendship. Now let's build trust. Now let's build communication to build friendship and trust and respect. And then build working on your dreams together. So the steps we give you, talk about everything, but you build a relationship that is friendship based or foundation. Would y'all agree with this?
So
by the way, would y'all agree with this?
You can spend time talking together. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, give us your thoughts, because
how'd you build the relationship?
We have not
in the bed.
This is not something we have personally experienced, where we had a great sexual life and then everything else was bad. We had a friendship, and the sex was great. Our friendship was great. Our communication was great, and we built a life together. 38 years later, we are together, and we're still enjoying each part of that we've learned. But this is a process, so you got to master this. Go ahead.
No, that was
I thought that was
tip. No,
okay,
this is another master list for something else.
She always got stuff. She got multiple things going on.
All right, so
by the way, you look mighty good tonight.
Thank you, dear. Compliment your mate.
You turn me on.
That's good. So I've got set goals, set couples goals. That's a far stop. Okay. That's very important, but you can't get there if you are not speaking the same language. Yeah. So setting some goals. You got one more thing. Set aside some non-sexual focused time. Take a yoga class together. Do something physical outside the house. Okay. But that is touching. Yoga is touching. Everybody doesn't like yoga. You know what? My yoga instructor teaches couples yoga. Couples yoga class in McLean on last Friday, and in class on this weekend he was saying, "Oh, it was really so great because you bring your mate, and one mate is really involved in yoga, and the other one's like, oh, I don't know, but they were kind to each other, and so they worked it out." And I said, no, my mate is not going to do that because it hurts his back.
Well, baby, I'll come back to it if it's nice and easy. All right, now Crystal said positive communication is so important. Learning to reconnect after conflict is critical to connection. Skills can be learned. Absolutely. That's the thing. You're absolutely right. Skills can be learned. These are learnable skills. And so if the sex is great, then that's something that's a blessing. Now, learn the other skill, but you got to want to learn.
That's what I was going to say.
Got to want to learn.
I think the challenge is always, how much do you want the relationship to work? Because then that would force you to stop, put a sock in the mouth, not say anything.
Yep.
And study your mate. And then there's this book. There are lots of coaching books out there. Coaching in terms of how do you get someone to talk? You ask questions and you shut up. You ask open-ended questions. You don't always have to have the answer. What you want to do is to be interested.
Interesting. Those who are interested
in the other person, but not interested just because you want to get laid.
Well, but I was going to say something different. You took it to somewhere else. I was going to say those who are interested become interesting. Okay, those by the other person.
That was good, sweetheart.
Yeah, that was what I was going. But you went to getting laid. All right. So anyway, we only got a few more minutes. I want to address this question because this is a great forum.
Horrible listener.
Yeah. What?
And I don't quite know what that.
What do you do if your partner is amazing, great person, but a horrible listener?
What does that mean?
Quite sure what that means. Gotten to the point where I find expressing thoughts is pointless. Maybe he's not listening and he's saying and not communicating. So what I would recommend is this: that you have the 4F conversation. Okay, 4Fs. This 4Fs works in so many arenas.
Can I interrupt?
You may.
is your mate not listening because when you try to talk to him, he's doing other things? Or are both of you talking about ideas, and when you get to share yours, he's like, I don't want to hear it?
Yeah, which kind of way? Because it might be this. You talking to me? Talk to me.
Yes, dear.
Go ahead. You say something. Go ahead.
All right, you're playing with your phone. You're playing with your phone all the time.
You want my attention? Say, I want your attention.
I'd like your attention, sweetie.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. I'm listening.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then
See, that is.
Is it like that?
Yeah, that's where you see the problem is, because I want some attention here.
So what does that mean? Is that eye contact as we're talking? Because it's a whole different group of people who keep their phones. I'm not going to say it's generational, but your phone is always, like they say now, at the dinner table.
Right.
For some families,
they
put their phones in the center of the table so that they can have conversation.
All right. She said it makes one feel dismissed. That's it. The not listening because they think. So here's what I want you to do. Listen carefully. Thank you. First, Jeff, thank you. Somebody said he loves the dynamic and flow between the two of us. Thank you for leading by example. My pleasure. Thank you. That's why we do this. So people can see that we are real couple, wrote the book because we want to help people. And that's why we do this. We're not charging anybody Friday and Monday night. We want to help. Next, Dr. Mike. Hey, watching from Nigeria. Hey, welcome. We love you.
Did you answer his
Yeah, I answered it. And Nigeria, we were there when I spoke at the University of Lagos and University of Ibadan. So we've been there. Okay, now Gladys makes one feel dismissed. That's exactly what it is. This is what you're saying is not important. So Gladys, 4 F's. 4 F's. You feel dismissed. So first, be friendly. These 4 F's work. They're in the book, right out the book. Be friendly. Don't go in mad. Don't go in belligerent.
So when you do this,
this
is how it makes me feel.
Be frank about your feelings. Be frank about your feelings. How this makes me feel. Not what you do. Not you do this, you do that. No. When this happens, this is how that makes me feel. I feel dismissed. But then be fair. Why do you do that? He might be saying you talk too much, or you know, I don't know what he might say, but you got to have listening. You talk about stuff that doesn't interest me. Well, let's talk about some stuff that does interest you. I don't know what it is. I don't know what. So be friendly, be frank about your feelings. Here's how this made me feel. Be fair, listen to his side, and then be focused on a win-win.
What can we do to change the situation so that we both get some of what we need?
Yes. Thank you, Henry Darden, for those kind of comments. And Dr. Mike, thank you for joining us from Nigeria. We got people who are joining all over the world. We're so grateful. We're grateful.
Thank you for your precious time.
Yeah. Our time is just about up. We do this for half an hour.
If you have not, how do they connect socially so that I'm backing up and sending out a questionnaire so they can check to see what their interests are, and as we deal with
we have a Jolley Marriage email list.
Yeah, but if they're not ordered, I'm saying
go to jolleymarriage.com. Go to jolleymarriage.com. Sign up for the list so you'll know what we're going to be upcoming plans
and start to get some tidbits. So we're working.
And Dr. Mike, since you're in Nigeria, you can get the book digitally. Go to jolleymarriage.com. Get the digital bundle. You get 2 books, or you get the book, you get the workbook, you get the audio book, and you get the CD seminar set. And it's all digital, and it's on a discounted price when it's digital. For those in America, if you want the hardcover book, and we sign them before we send it out, we recommend 2 books. Get 2 good books. Each one of you get a book. Get 2 workbooks, an audio book, and it's called the bundle. Get it. It's much cheaper than a divorce. Much cheaper than a divorce lawyer now.
And by midweek, you get the summary of this YouTube thing.
Everybody. Yep.
With key elements. So we're working on how do we improve that? What's the next step? Article.
We're grateful for all the people around the world.
So that's what I'm saying.
Who made this a popular program?
Join the email list.
Yeah, join the email list.
about 1,000 people on the email list. So we're saying you want to participate and know what we're
And
doing.
for my sister who wants to share this with her husband, let us know how it goes. It'll work. It will work if you do it. Friendly, frank about your feelings, be fair, listen to his side, and then be focused on the win-win. Attack the problem, not each other. You'll grow. Hey, thank you, Elizabeth Warmly. Hey, glad to have you. Greg and Linda, as always, all our regulars and those who... Hey, Gladys Fitzhugh told me... Fitzhugh, or Pemberton. I always would call her Fitzhugh because that was her maiden name. Gladys Pemberton says she listens on Monday night. Thank you.
Gladys Fitzhugh Pemberton.
There you go. Thank you, Gladys. One of the greatest caregivers. She and her husband have a ministry of caring for people with dementia. What a blessing. They are such a blessing to so many. Hey, our time is up. Is our time up? Oh, no. We got a couple more minutes. So let's talk couple more minutes. My glasses. Oh, there's Gladys. See, I talked about it. She says, I'm here. Thank you. We have to give you a shout out because she was traveling to Hawaii before.
They're always traveling.
They're always traveling. They're living the life, and we love it that you're living the life. Amen. Already. Look, real quick, let me finish this thought about the great sex, everything else bad. Look, here's go beyond your personal comfort zone and learn that your spouse over and over again, what you said, focus on what you have in common and not the differences. Talk about what you value.
It doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, talk about what you value.
You know what? I think you have to accept that you're going to be vulnerable.
Right. Laugh together. Friends share humor and laughter. Hold hands.
But if the relationship is that important to you, you have to muster the courage, like in The Lion King. You have to muster the courage to say, things are not quite the way I think it could be. Could we talk about that?
That's great.
And you know what? It is also how you talk. It's even the words, the mannerisms, and the tone of voice that you use.
Tell everybody that you're married to your best friend. And number 7, be friends. This first chapter gives you tips on how to befriend your spouse. If y'all not a friend and not friends, we give you tips on how to do it. Talk about what you value. I like that. That's the truth, Brother Mike, Dr. Mike. Look, I want to thank everybody who joined us. We are having, hopefully, an impact. We've had so many people recently said, we were on our way to divorce court. We got your book, and it changed everything. Praise God. That's why we do this. Hey, see y'all. Our time is up. We're going to go to our music, my jazz album music, and we're going to go out with Close to You because that's what I want to be, close to her. And I hope you want to be close to your significant other. Here we go.
Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you.